Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was a few minutes late today. Joel said, we're jumping right into it. First of all, happy Easter to anyone who celebrates. Or as my mom likes to say, happy Easter. I know, bad dad. My mom was a single parent, so I got the dad jokes from my mom as well. Let me make sure my microphone is working correctly. What? Let's see. Hold on. Settings. Because I actually have my Yeti plugged in. It's not doing that. Okay, let's see. I don't know. Maybe we don't need it. I feel like this is good. Let's see if this. Do you guys notice any sound difference with this mic? I don't know. Okay, anyway. Good morning, Debbie. All right. Good morning from our little green guy friend. I feel like the lighting in here is really good today. It's a nice clear day since we've had the rain. I'm gonna accidentally butcher your name. Gorov says amen. Okay, we'll do movies first. Then we'll talk about the minimum wage. And then some life updates. Okay, so because I know my mom is dying to know. I haven't seen my mom in over a week, and she found out something via text, and she's always yelling at me that she learns more about me when I go live. So, okay. Good morning, Sugar Sprinkles. Always the little green man. Okay. Movies. Dune 2 was still our number one movie where I work this weekend. Not Kong by Godzilla, Godzilla by Kong. There is a new Godzilla movie. My two coworkers are really big Godzilla fans. I know at least one of them has seen it, and he says he liked it a lot. He said it was everything he wants, and he's a giant Godzilla fan. So he enjoyed that. Just wasn't the number one movie at my theater. Okay, then I'm behind on Ghostbusters. Oh, it's not Afterlife. I'm watching Ghostbusters Afterlife at home right now, and I want to watch that beforehand. Okay, there's 12 of you in here, which means that there's probably some new people in here. So hello to the new people. So sometimes we babble a little bit about life stuff, but we are going to get into the $20 fast food minimum wage. So Debbie, that's kind of the update on movies. There's a film called Love Lies Bleeding. It's supposed to be pretty gory, or like at least it's got some blood. It is also supposed to be excellent. I want to say that it's the studio A24 that put it out, and they are always I don't know what it is, but they don't miss when they put out a movie. You can count on that to be good. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, I think that's it movie wise. Let's lead into this with talking about fast food minimum wage. Is that they are going to pay their salaried managers. Good morning, Heidi. Salaried managers in the fast food industry. Fast food. I got to Google it though because I don't remember the exact figure. Fast food wage for exempt employees. Exempt employees, California. It's in the $83,000 range. Okay, what you need to know. Oops. Sorry, I'm looking for that wage and I don't see it quickly. I'm on like an official California.gov site. Dang it, where is it? Okay, we'll go back. We gotta. Maybe we'll Google it together so I can share my screen with you guys. It is in the $83,000 range. I don't know the exact figure. And I'm just hoping, since I'm going to be sharing some personal news soon, I'm hoping that employers take that into account when they're thinking about promoting their employees, right? Especially their employees who have been with the company for a really long time. Obviously those employees would be providing value to warrant making such a high salary. But hopefully they're able to also use the fact that that minimum wage is going to be really high for salaried managers to also like up the rate a little bit. That's my hope. I guess since this is happening, I I don't. So, okay. Ben says, I say no to $20 an hour for fast food workers. Sorry, but why does someone who works in Target and retail get paid less? Then I won't be able to afford my KFC. LOL. Yeah. And a lot of people, it's going to create, yeah, it's going to create some bitterness, I think, between industries. Like a Target retail worker is a perfect example. I know sometimes, like when you're first entering a management position, sometimes you don't make that much more than minimum wage. Maybe you make a dollar or two above, um, maybe $3 above what your entry level person is making. So right now, regular minimum wage in California is $16 an hour. So if you were going to even get paid like $3 an hour more than that, that would still only put you at $19 an hour, which is a dollar less than you would get if you worked in the fast food industry. So I think that between industries, but this is what, so to back up, I think fast food restaurants were having a hard time staffing their businesses, right? So I think that maybe Newsom, I don't know this for sure. This is all my opinion, guys. Was like, hey, like, what do we do? I ate a cupcake. My tongue is blue. Got sidetracked there for a second. I think Newsom was like, what do we do to help staff these fast food restaurants? Like, I work a late night job. I like to go through a fast food drive-through when I get off work late at night. But in order to do that, there needs to be somebody there to staff it. So I think that they were one trying to incentivize people to work at fast food restaurants, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that that's absolutely working. I'm going to definitely say that for someone like me with or I'm going to well, I can only speak for myself, but I will say that I watch a lot of YouTube videos about maximizing your earnings potential. So if I'm going to try and maximize my earnings potential, I'm going to try and work the highest paid job that I possibly can. So maybe I don't normally want to flip burgers at McDonald's, but for $20 an hour, sure, that would be a great first job. I am also going to say I'm not trying to shade anybody that already works at a McDonald's, that already works in fast food. That is definitely not my intent. And I am also going to say that everyone I have ever worked with that has worked at a McDonald's or a Starbucks first before they have worked for me have been top tier, just the best of the best employees. So, in those terms, those places must be doing something right. Because always those employees have been really good. That's not to say that employees who work at other fast food restaurants aren't good. I've worked with people who've worked at McDonald's before, and I've worked with people who've worked at Starbucks before. But other than that, I haven't worked with a lot of people who've worked at other fast food restaurants. Um, so that aside, I do think it's gonna make the target worker maybe a little bit bitter that now their best friend that works at McDonald's is making more, right? We're accidentally creating some inequality even among what would traditionally be considered a low income worker. And then I just think that, like, I'm seeing, and of course, like, your news feeds you things that you're searching for, right? It knows that I maybe think that this is not great for the economy overall. So it's feeding me articles that say, like, restaurants find it unsustainable to pay their workers $20 minimum wage an hour. And I think there's going to be a lot of that. I think you guys know this if you watch weekly, and I see a lot of you that do, but I see a lot of new people. So I think that restaurants will pass on more work to the employees that they have. They'll kind of, the philosophy, well, you're making more, so you can take on a little bit more responsibility. And I think that they're going to have to look for ways to automate it. You guys love when I make the little robot with a fryer analogy. A robot can't get burned. Well, if the robot malfunctions, maybe it could, and that might take your operation down for a whole day. But in general, a robot is going to be consistent. A robot isn't going to need a break. A robot isn't going to injure itself in a way that would result in like a workers' compensation claim. A robot's not going to get sick. A robot is not going to call out of its shift. A robot isn't going to sue you if you don't send it to break on time. Like, even though a robot might be a very costly upfront investment, I think long term, robots are going to replace human workers. Okay, you guys have a lot of comments. Oh, Heidi. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Okay, so Heidi and I worked together. I did not know that McDonald's is your first job. It does not surprise me because, like I just said, McDonald's workers have all been great, and Heidi is great as well. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. And when Heidi like applied for us, Heidi's closer to my age. So the advice these days is you don't put every single job you've ever worked in your entire life on your resume. You kind of only go back 10 years. So that has never come up. Heidi, we really got to hang out. I saw that you went to a new tiki bar yesterday. I need to do that. Okay. So, and let's see what Joel said right at the beginning. Joel said, unpopular opinion. I don't know if it is an unpopular opinion. I am against the $20 an hour wage increase for fast food workers. It leaves others left out, like Uber drivers getting paid way less. It will also drop the cost of my Big Mac way up. Okay, and let's address that because that's certainly circulating a lot. So, and I'm going to, if I ever get around to making videos again, I am going to make a video on that, about how much the costs are going up. First of all, if you're going to eat at McDonald's, please, please, please download their app, okay? Then we'll see if it's gone up. So I'm opening my McDonald's app. I don't want to get $0 delivery fees. I don't care about that. Okay, it's going to give me a lot of ads. Nope, I don't care about that. Okay, so, and I'm going to go down to this deals section. So I'm going to see what the deals they have are. I'm going to go to view all. And I have okay, there. I feel like you guys can see that. Deal. A $6.50, a $6.50 Big Mac with a medium fry and a medium drink. And it says you can use that. Oh, that's it says it expires today. So I wonder if that will still be the price tomorrow, April 1st, when the wages go up. My guess would be, so it's $6.50 for the combo. Somebody told me on one of my lives that they paid $15 for a Big Mac combo. So please, please don't do any of that. Download their app, get it for $6.50. And I'm going to go as far as to say, be cheap, right? Be frugal, whatever the term that you like the most is. Guess what? If I've got me in my car and I've got my mom in my car and I'm going through the drive-through, I'm going to tell them that we're paying separately and that my mom's going to use her own app. So, because the deal's probably only good for one. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to pay separately. I'm going to use, it gives you like a coupon voucher or something that you tell them when you're going through the drive-through. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to get mine and I'm going to have my mom, I'm going to have my mom use her own. And then we're going to pay separately when we get through the drive-through. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. That means to like the video. There's 17 of you in here. So happy Easter, happy Sunday. We talk about budget and finance every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. But I'm really curious. Lately, we've been talking a lot about this $20 fast food minimum wage for employees in California, because I'm really curious how it affects everything else. I guess the things, and earlier I started to say this, I don't think I finished my thought. What I hope it does is I hope that instead of like Joel's saying, like Uber drivers are making less and Ben is saying Target employees are making less, What I'm hoping is that, and maybe this was the overall hope as well, that it drives up the starting wage for more entry-level employees across all industries. Because maybe with the fast food minimum wage being $20 an hour, maybe that will make everybody want to work at fast food and no one want to work at Target. And then Target's going to be like, oh my goodness, why is this happening? Also, Target, I don't know if it's that you guys have, I'm speaking to Target corporate, who's definitely listening right now. I want to say the last 2 Christmases, I've contemplated like taking on a second job at Target just for the Christmas holiday. But their signs, I want to say, okay, California minimum wage in California in general is $16 an hour. So if your employer is not paying you at least $16 an hour in the state of California, they're in violation of the state law. So that's for any industry. But I want to say that Target, for like, I want to say that their sign, it was like really great wages, enticing wages for the holidays because we need people. And then it was like $16 an hour. It was literally like the bare minimum. And I was like, that's not great incentive to work at the holidays. And during the holidays, like you could work at a Christmas tree lot and it probably pays minimum wage, but people tip you for like putting the tree on their car and stuff. So way better jobs during the holidays as a temporary side hustle than working at Target. So I'm hoping that the fast food minimum wage going up means that places like Target, like Uber, like office workers, like an entry level, like receptionist, I'm hoping that those industries pay more, right? Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping. Okay, Alex says, you got in an argument with a friend who works as a fast food worker because you don't agree with the $20 an hour. An increase for people who make minimum wage. My Uber driver this morning was pissed about it. You know what? I really wish that I could have somebody on the channel, like a guest appearance by somebody who works at fast food. But you guys, I film out of my house and I'm a female. And so I'm a little nervous about doing that. Like maybe I need to like meet them in a public place, like go to WeWork or something like that and rent a podcast space so that I could interview somebody, because I would love to know what the actual people working in fast food think about this. Because the other thing about this is everybody thinks, whether it's true or not, we think that it's going to cause our expenses to go up, right? We think that if we're going to be paying $20 an hour minimum wage to fast food workers, that our Big Mac meal is going to cost more. So that's why I want to do a video that sees if that actually happens or not. So far with the specific McDonald's example, because of that special with the app, I haven't seen that happen. And what I've said is like, I think that restaurants, they've known this is coming. So I feel like any price increases that were going to happen would have already started to happen at least. And I'm not even going to really entertain, at least not on my channel, the cost if you don't have the app, because I want to always encourage anybody watching my channel to get the best deal possible. And that does mean like downloading the app and looking to see what the special is that day and remembering to use it. So I don't think I want to look at like the flat outright cost of the Big Mac meal. Let me know if you guys want me to do that without the app, and I'll try and research that. And even if I don't make a full video about it, I'll definitely report back during the lives. And yeah, I don't like that it's causing tension between the different industries, right? So the hope though would be that it puts pressure on the other industries to pay their employees better as well. I love podcasts. Happy Easter. And it's always good to see you as well. Joel says, I know it sounds mean, but I laugh at anyone who drives for Uber in California in 2024. Do these people know how bad they're getting screwed? They should do fast food for $20 an hour and make more. You know what, Joel? I've wondered about that because yeah, Uber drivers don't make much. Even back in 2014 when I was doing it, I stopped doing it because I did the math and I was like, I made less driving for Uber than I would have making minimum wage. I don't think I was optimizing the way I was driving for Uber. I think I would be smarter about it now. And I know some things have changed. Like if you're driving home, you can say, hey, I only want a ride that's going like from east to west or west to east so that you can take somebody home to their home while you're on your way home too. Back when I was driving, like if you would drive home empty a lot of times because you wouldn't want to accept a new ride because it could take you in the complete opposite direction of your house, but they've kind of fixed that now. Siegel's in here. Good morning, Siegel. Okay. So the Uber drivers, wasn't there that thing where you could buy a car through Uber and it was expensive to buy it. The interest rate was not great, but it was a way for people who didn't have great credit or a lot of work history to get a car, but you had to drive for Uber in order to pay that car off. I wonder if some people are still kind of stuck trying to get that car paid off through Uber, and that's what's going on with that. I don't know though. Okay. Siegel says, I can cook, so I'll slip my own burger. I'll cook my own burgers at home on your grill, and it'll be way cheap. Oh, you'll slip them on your grill. I'm not reading that right, and it'll be way cheaper. Yeah, a lot of times it will. However, so I am not the best cook. I have some ground beef in my freezer right now. But one, I feel like I'm the type of person that can burn a burger. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not the best cook. But I'm going to be buying really quality meat. I'm going to be buying quality cheese. I'm going to be buying like a fancy bun. By the time I'm out the door, it's not going to be cheaper than going to fast food. It should be a lot healthier though. So yeah, okay. Joy and Joey says Happy Easter. We read Heidi's comment that she worked at McDonald's before. Joel says we're gonna in a minute pull up some articles about how businesses think it's gonna affect them. I'm also gonna say that the articles that I'm pulling up surrounding this $20 fast food minimum wage, they seem to be saying they're regurgitating the same information that's been out for a while about Pizza Hut laying off about 1,200 delivery drivers, which, by the way, they say that oh, like if Pizza Hut doesn't have their own pizza drivers anymore, that they think that those drivers will just go and work for Uber, and that Uber will start delivering more pizza, and that all in all, it's going to work out better for the delivery drivers. I'm also going to say, you know, again, this channel is about budgeting and saving money. So I think that in terms of like pizza or delivery fees in general, if the costs start to go up too high for getting a pizza, especially getting a pizza delivered, back in the day, we used to just go pick it up ourselves. You can call in for pickup. Like you don't have to go to the store and like wait for them to make the pizza. You can, before you leave for work, you can call. So on your way home, when you just finished work, call and order the pizza then, and then pick it up on your way home. Like we're capable of picking up our own pizzas. And guys, honestly, I think a lot of times it would be hotter, fresher, better if we just did that anyway. So depending on gas prices and like how your day looks, you want to try and set it up so you're not like driving home and then driving in traffic to pick up your pizza and like wasting gas and all of this. But like the delivery fees and the tips, in my opinion, it's getting out of hand. And one of the ways to cut back on that would be to just go and pick it up yourselves. That's true for any like Uber Eats kind of situation. Joel says his first job was at El Pollo Loco around 2005 at 16. What memories? You love the chicken there too. Yeah, El Pollo Loco is good. Josie says, Happy Easter, Shelly and Mom. You guys, my mom's little video about living on Social Security has kind of blown up, so I would like to do a follow-up video to that as well. And shout out to all of you that watched that. If you haven't watched that, please find the video. I would just type in Shelly's Millions living on Social Security alone, and it should come up that way. Okay, you're gay. Anthony. Oh, I almost said it all. I don't know if YouTube will ding me for saying it. Your screen name. Anyway, if fast food gets too expensive, your solution, cook from home. Cheaper and healthier as well. Fast food companies will go out of business. Fast food companies will have business, but it won't be because people can't afford it. But hi Ray, happy Easter. Okay, Rocky, never apologize for being late. Okay, Ray says you just eat at 7-Eleven. It costs way less. Yeah. And honestly, again, use the 7-Eleven app. I have the 7-Eleven app. Let's see. My best friend is all about the 7-Eleven pizza. Should I be embarrassed that I have the 7-Eleven app? No, because let's see if it knows my phone number. Oh my goodness. Okay. Sending me verification codes just to load on. Okay. Okay, it wants you to get free delivery with 7NOW Gold Pass. No, I don't really want to learn about that, but no, there's the close button. Now I can earn 3 points. Okay. I have 73 points, so I don't have any rewards, but you can order 7-Eleven delivery. First of all, order delivery. My friend really likes their pizza. Okay. All right, let's see. A $4 meal deal. Taquitos and a Monster. And the deal is applied at checkout. Sometimes there's a pizza deal. I feel like that's expensive. Is this expensive? Can someone tell me if this is expensive for 7-Eleven wings? 10 wings for $10.99. That sounds like a lot to me. Maybe I just don't eat wings enough? I don't know. That seems weird. Ooh, $1 for a large smoothie. Okay, this is more my style. Also, my mom, you like to go out and eat sometimes. You're always saying that you want to treat yourself, but it's getting too expensive. $3. This seems like a real good deal. $3 for 2 pizza slices and any big gulp drink. That seems like a good deal to me. And they accept SNAP and EBT. Deals and rewards. Savings. Ooh, punch cards. Let's see what they have. Ooh, look at that. There's a pizza punch club. So it looks like after 7, what does it say? Buy 7 pizza slices and get the 8th slice free. So always like combine these apps. Like if somebody has an app, just download it. I mean, because you're probably going to save some money. Okay. Roy says, oh, good. Roy's already on it. He knew. Okay. Roy says he uses his 7-Eleven reward points for savings and deals and eating an El Pollo bowl. It saved you a lot of money. Hey, I love it. I love it, Ray, that you already knew. You already knew. Okay. Anthony says, oh, you're making a honey baked ham for Easter. You'd love to share some with me. Oh man, that sounds so good. I haven't had scalloped potatoes in a really long time. You guys know that my mom gets some of her food from the food bank. She was like, Shelly, I braved the rain yesterday. And she was hoping that they would have an Easter ham, but they didn't. She said she got a lot of catfish. Okay. Ben says, none of us in the chat work fast food, so it would be nice to hear their opinion. Yeah, okay. So, or we haven't worked fast food in a long time. Like, bye, Heidi. She's already been long gone. But so Heidi mentioned that she did previously work at McDonald's. So it's been a long time. But I'm wondering, like, are the employees that are working at the fast food restaurants, do they think this is a good thing, right? If I were working at McDonald's anyway, right? And today I'm making $16 an hour and I'm happy to go to work and I'm happy to have a job and I'm learning a lot of skills because McDonald's I do think McDonald's teaches their employees good skills to go out and become business managers and about sales and about real estate. I do think, and they have like educational programs. That is another thing that I've heard that they're going to cut back on some of like subsidizing education and free meals and things like that in order to do the fast food minimum wage. But like if I'm working somewhere anyway, and today I'm going to work and I make $16 an hour, but tomorrow I go to work and I make $20 an hour, I'm gonna be happier going to work doing the same thing, maybe a little bit more for $20 an hour. And let's be honest, in a fast food slash retail job, a lot of times you're doing more anyway. Like if your coworker calls out sick, half the time you're doing your job plus their job anyway. So, but is it gonna be like the stress level as if your coworker called out every day because the managers are getting pressured to schedule less hours? So I'm curious. I'm curious about, you know, are there going to be more jobs or less jobs because of this? Like, are fast food places going to continue to hire, or are they going to like cap out because they have enough employees? Are they actually going to cut back on staff because they can't afford to have as many staff members on the roster? Are they going to actually keep the managers as a salaried position? Or are they going to switch them to hourly? Um, are the people actually working in the fast food restaurants, are they happy about this? Do they think they're going to be getting more hours, or do they think their hours are going to get cut because of this? And have they seen their employers work towards technology? Because if the fast food restaurants end up closing because they can't afford to pay the wage, then that's not going to be a net positive effect. If they cut hours and hire less employees, that's like that might be good for the few people who are still getting hours, but for the people who get their hours cut, then that's not going to be a benefit for them. So it really, I think, is going to depend on a lot of different circumstances. Hi, Leo. When is iRobot making a breakfast burrito at Jack in the Crack? I don't know, but there is a McDonald's already that is fully automated, it said. I just spit. Sorry, guys. And I'm going to take a sip of coffee. You guys know that means to like the video. But I think it could be coming sooner rather than later. Rocky says, hopefully all companies will raise the starting pay to $20 an hour. Yeah, that's kind of what I hope too. But then again, we've done kind of the math. Like, can all businesses afford it? And that I don't know. I think that for some businesses, if they suddenly, because last year in 2023, California state minimum wage was $15.50. It's already gone up 50 cents an hour for everybody who is at minimum wage. So that's already a jump. And then to jump $4 more on top of that every hour for every employee, I do think that could put some businesses out of business. And then we have places like Family Dollar closing. I've heard, like, I know of 3 bank branches that are closing just in like the 30-mile radius that I live in, and there's probably more. That's just the ones I know about. So banks are closing, Family Dollar is closing. Some restaurants will probably have to close. I think more businesses would have to close if they were all required to pay a $20 an hour minimum wage. So I'm not sure that that's really the answer either. It would be nice for everybody, it would be nice for the individuals that work there as long as they kept their jobs. But otherwise, if it causes a lot of businesses to go out of business, and then there's less jobs to go around, and then it makes more people be out of work, then I don't think that's good either. Okay. Flo Jersey says, good afternoon. Happy Easter. New viewer. Thank you. You watched the video with my mom on Social Security, and your mom's on Social Security as well. It's very informative. Thank you. And your mom for filming and sharing with us. Thank you, Flo Jersey. Every Sunday we talk, and you just heard me mention, if you're still in here, that my mom, she goes to the food bank. I think she shared that in her video. She usually gets the Easter ham, so she's sad about that. And since you are a new viewer, I just want to kind of clarify. My name is Shelly's Millions. I'm trying to be a millionaire. I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. And my mom has made it make her go to the food bank. I would definitely give her money for food if she wanted to, but she wants to see me succeed and reach my goals. And honestly, I think going to the food bank for her is a good thing. It gets her out of the house. She's driving. She mentioned she braved the rain yesterday to go. But it's hard for seniors, and you must be a good child for helping your mom as well. So thank you for watching the video. I want to make a follow-up video with her about that. And if you do have questions or like tips that you want to share about how your mom's living on Social Security, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll share them with everybody, because we're all just trying to figure it out and make ends meet and live a good life. Okay, well, welcome to the channel. All right, Ben says, you like how Anthony and you have very obscene screen names. It's tricky for me sometimes. Okay. $1 a wing. So $1 a wing is common, but like, okay, so for anybody who's just chiming in, we just looked at the 7-Eleven app and wings are $10.99. And Ishmo, Ishmoy. Oh my God. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. But you're saying the average is $1 a wing, which I do think $1 a wing is normal. But is $1 a wing for a 7-Eleven wing, is that normal? Is that normal? Are the 7-Eleven wings good? Because with the app, you can get 10 wings for $10.99. I just don't know if that's a good price or a bad price for a 7-Eleven wing. I'm not sure. Okay, Alex says, Ben and Anthony, how did you get YouTube to accept those usernames? I mean, you love it. You're just glad you guys have it. Haha. And I'm not sure Anthony's is that bad. Ben's definitely is. Okay, my mom says 7-Eleven pizza is good, but you get a huge slice at a local pizza place for only $2.49. Okay, so that's a huge slice. But where do you get this huge slice of pizza? You've never taken me there. Anyway, is it the place where we get the lasagna from? Anyway, but this is 2 slices of pizza at 7-Eleven plus the fountain drink for $3, which seems really good. Hi, Linda. Linda says, have a blessed Easter and God bless you and your mom. God bless everyone in the chat. Aw, thank you. My mom says, it'd be interesting to see later how the $20 an hour changes things. I've heard less hours, less employees, and less benefits. Yep, those are all things that I've heard as well. So I'm curious, are the employees that are working at those restaurants, are they nervous about that? Or are they like, cool, $20 an hour? I don't know. Okay, Linda says, I think Family Dollar is doomed. All of them in California appear to be closing. That's like thousands of jobs lost. I hope former employees can get work at a fast food place unless they stop hiring. And Linda, I'm not sure if you've been in here, but I don't think it was last week, but it was the week. Yeah, it was the week before. I actually have a regular viewer and their screen name is Family Dollar. They're so proud of where they work that they even have like their YouTube screen name as their job, and their store is closing down. And now they're scrambling looking for work. I don't know if it's all of them, but yeah, it's like nationwide. It's 1,000 locations. Okay. It is time to share my screen. And you guys, if you have any questions, if you want to change the topic, have any other comments, let me know in chat and we can switch topics. Largely what we talk about each week is up to you. Hold on. Okay, so we're just going to Google some of these things. Fast food minimum wage. Okay, so these are all the top stories. Okay. The AP News, new $20 minimum wage for fast food workers in California is set to start Monday. Okay, now this is Fox Business 2 days ago. Restaurant owner fears California minimum wage law is a silent tax on, is a silent tax on consumers, collapsing businesses. Now, I do want to stress that this is a Fox News article, so they often sensationalize. I mean, like all the news. I mean, even YouTube headlines try and sensationalize, to be honest. Okay, so, but let's read this anyway. Let's see what this restaurant owner thinks. California's restaurants crushed by $20 minimum wage. People need to wake up. Los Angeles restaurant owner Angela Marston joins America's Newsroom to explain the direct impact of California's fast food minimum wage increase on small businesses, including layoffs and store closures. One Los Angeles-based restaurant owner is voicing her concerns over customers and employees having to eat up the cost of California's soon-to-be enacted fast food minimum wage. We are the ones that were strong enough to be the mom and pop shops that survived COVID, and now we're hit with this, and it directly impacts the small businesses, Angela said on America's Newsroom Friday. We're going to have massive layoffs, massive job losses, she continued. And when it comes to being a mom and pop shop, if you can get $20 an hour dropping fries at McDonald's, what do you expect? You want me to pay and make a nice meal or a nice hamburger? My hamburger currently is going up to 20 some dollars an hour. My hamburger currently. Their hamburger isn't going up. I think that's worded wrong. Anyway, in December, Newsom passed a law that increases the minimum wage for food industry workers to $20 an hour. The minimum wage for workers in other industries across the state, that is not correct. It's now $16 an hour. All right, Fox News, you need to check it. The new wage takes place in April 2024 and applies to workers at restaurants that have at least 60 locations nationwide, except those that make and sell their own bread. And again, Panera Bread is not exempt. We thought it was going to be, but now it's not. Okay. Marston claimed a friend who owns 7 McDonald's franchises plans to close 4 locations. So this person owns 7. They're going to close 4. That's more than half of the ones that this person owns because of the increased employment cost. So now those people are getting laid off. They're losing their jobs. And Gavin Newsom, I hope the United States is watching. I hope he never becomes president. This man is destroying California. I don't understand why people can't see that he's the biggest trickster of all time. That's what that's saying. I'm reading an article here. Other California fast food chains, including Pizza Hut, Southern California Pizza, Round Table Pizza, and Vitality Bowls, have announced layoffs in lieu of the law. I have not heard of Vitality Bowls in Southern California Pizza. It's not California, it's not CPK, right? It's not California Pizza Kitchen. Anyway, and I love Round Table, even though they don't have very many of them anymore. Anyway, okay, this person thinks it is a silent tax on the public. The public will pay for the unemployment of the people that are let go. Let's just say though that that's not true. The people's employers pay into the unemployment system. The public will pay the $26 an hour for the hamburger. That's true. If it goes up, we will pay that. The lower class, middle class, upper class has been completely shut out. They can't even afford to go to McDonald's, let alone come to this person's small business, and businesses are collapsing. And I'm also going to just go out there and say that the pandemic really hurt a lot of businesses, and a lot of businesses still have not bounced back to how things were pre-pandemic. Okay. But this is said, my kitchen has been here since 1978, and I've cut my bookkeeper, I've cut my hours, she added. It's literally making way for corporations and big conglomerates. People with a lot of money will be able to have a business. I definitely agree with that too. The bigger the business, the more they'll be able to absorb these costs. The restaurant owner hypothesized that Newsom wants to push the industry to incorporate artificial intelligence, AI solutions to keep their doors open. People need to wake up. This is like when you go to the circus and the guy has a big fancy trick he's showing you. Meanwhile, somebody is stealing all the money out of your pocket because this is a tax that's being passed on to the consumer. So what do you guys think about that? Let me see if I've got any new comments yet. No, not yet. Okay, so let's see. Oops. Oh, dear. Let's see what else we have in terms of articles. I don't think, okay. There's an article from the New York Times. Let's try and look at this. Okay, this is Cal Matters, which they are a government Like this is a .org website. Cal Matters was one of the places you could get reliable unemployment information. So let's see here. So the title of this article is Which Fast Food Workers Will Get Paid More in California? Because I do think that there's still some confusion around that. This article was updated yesterday, March 29th. And it's by Jean Quang. I try when I remember to give credit to the authors of these articles that I'm quoting. Okay, so say you work at a fast food restaurant or coffee shop that bears the name of a national chain. Under California law, you're entitled to be paid at least $20 an hour starting Monday. So a restaurant or coffee shop that bears the name of a national chain. Say you work at one of those stores inside of a grocery store. The grocery store, your employer, is exempt under the law. You'll keep getting your current wages. Okay, I forgot all about this. Okay, so near where my mom, actually, is it still there? I don't think it is still there, but we're just going to go with this example anyway. My mom lives near a Walmart. There's no Walmarts by where I live. There should be, but there's not. But anyway, okay, my mom lives near a Walmart. Inside the Walmart, I honestly don't know if it's still there. There used to be a McDonald's inside of the Walmart. And there used to be like this little bench with Ronald McDonald, and like you could sit down on the bench next to Ronald McDonald. I don't think it's still inside there. I think that's where they put like the groceries section. But anyway, it used to be there. If that were still there, it wouldn't apply to them. Also, I'm not sure if Starbucks is going to count. I think I do have a friend that works at Starbucks, so I will try and reach out to them and see if Starbucks is included in this. There is definitely, if it is, and I don't know if it is or not, but if it is, Starbucks are inside of Target. It would not apply to a Starbucks inside of Target. Okay, and I'm not saying for sure that it does apply to Starbucks at all. So let's say, okay, so say you work at one of those stores inside of a grocery store, it does not apply to you. But say you assemble burgers, scoop ice cream, or prepare frappuccinos. Wait a minute. Oh my God. At one of those stores. And it's inside another store. But the bigger store isn't a grocery because less than half of its revenues are made off groceries. Clear as mud. Of course it is. According to the state of California, the store should be paying you at least $20 an hour, but only for the hours you work in the fast food portion of the store. If you spend part of your shift checking out customers or stocking the shelves in the rest of the store, you're only entitled to the regular minimum wage of $16 for those hours. That's according to an 18-item FAQ the Department of Industrial Relations published in March as a California business to prepare for the fast food minimum wage to kick in on Monday. It's not the only solution that is it's not blah, blah, blah. Man, I can't read this morning. It's not the only situation that is confusing employers and workers alike. To raise wages for we might read that 18-item FAQ. To raise wages for fast food workers, the Service Employees International's Union struck a deal last year with the International Franchise Association and California Restaurant Association that included owners of fast food chain locations, but exempted those who operate independent restaurants. Say what now? Okay, let's read that again slowly. Okay. To raise wages for fast food workers, the Service Employees International Union, they struck a deal with somebody else that included owners of fast food chain locations, but exempted those who operated independent restaurants. Huh? Okay. The law covers all fast food restaurants that belong to chains with 60 or more locations nationally, roping in the union's targets, McDonald's or Burger King and their franchise owners. More than 500,000 Californians, primarily women, immigrants, and people of color, work in what's known in the industry as limited service restaurants. Earlier this year, SEIU estimated the law will apply to roughly 3,000 employers. The vast majority of fast food locations in California under the most profitable brands in the world. Um, those corporations need to pay their fair share and provide their operators with the resources they need to pay their workers a living wage without cutting jobs or passing the cost on to consumers. Yeah, but they're not going to. Okay. But outside those national chains are numerous other food sellers and business arrangements, not all of which are directly addressed in the new law. Grocery stores and some bakeries are exempt. And this week, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law a carve out for fast food places at airports, convention centers, and hotels. According to the emails obtained by, and I think that is really where the conflict is going to come into place. How annoying would it be if you're working at a McDonald's inside of an airport and you're only getting $16 an hour, but your best friend works at the one down the street from their house and they're making $20 an hour? That's really going to cause some animosity, I think. I would be annoyed. Or I would just leave the one at the airport and go work at the one down the street from my house. Hopefully the one at the airport isn't the one that's also down the street from your house. Anyway, according to emails obtained by Cal Matters in response to a public records request, a range of employers have been trying to figure out if they must pay $20 ever since the law was signed late last September. In October, and I wonder if a lot of people will just pay it just because they're confused that wouldn't have to, which is also like not good. In October, also, I wonder if they're hiring like somebody to like tell restaurants like, yes, you do or no, you don't, because like, hello, hit me up. Because I'll help people figure that out once I have all the information. In October, the Department of Industrial Relations received 2 inquiries from franchise owners asking whether they must comply with the law. One employer owned an Auntie Anne's and a Cinnabon and believed selling pretzels and cinnamon rolls qualified them for the controversial bakery exemption. The other owner owned an ice cream parlor. Okay, I'm curious about this too. I feel like the Auntie Anne's and Cinnabon person, I do feel like that's bread. So if they're baking it on site, I think that they would not have to pay the $16 an hour. But let's see if this says anything. But the ice cream parlor, is that fast food? Like what is like a owner of a Baskin Robbins? Like what does that count as? I think that's like I'm going to say on the Shelley Bridges meter that is not official by any stretch of the imagination, I'm going to say that that's a specialty dessert store, and I'm going to say that doesn't qualify. There's not really any food items sold there. They're not selling meals. Limited service restaurants, I think, is how they described it. Okay, so let's see. This clarification is imperative as to whether or not we will be financially able to open more locations at the proposed wage increase to $20 an hour, the ice cream store owner wrote. Both were forwarded to the department with a request for legal guidance by a staffer for Assemblymember Chris Holden, the law's author. In recent weeks, Holden has been unable to answer reporters' questions about why certain exemptions, such as a carve-out for some bakeries, were included in the law. The department redacted responses to those emails under a public records exemption for attorney-client communications. The ice cream store owner, Gabriella Campbell, was featured this week in a KCRA report detailing how she contacted multiple state offices and still isn't sure if the law applies to her. See, this is crazy. Like, it shouldn't be that, like, so this poor woman is trying to do the right thing. She's trying to figure out if she needs to do it or if she doesn't need to do it. Like, businesses need to be able to plan for their budget and they can't tell her. I think if they're not selling sandwiches, if they're just selling desserts, I don't think this is going to apply to them, but I am not the law. So we'll have to see how this plays out. What do you guys think that's going to do? Okay. Oh, Rocky's always doing this. I noticed job posting for Target Starbucks is $20 now, and Albertsons near me for the Starbucks is $20 as well. I think a lot of places just aren't going to, they're not going to deal with it. So whether we're not, So they're just going to pay the $20 an hour. Okay. Rocky says, also, even Baskin Robbins is posting for $20 an hour. I'll go scoop some ice cream. I've heard that that's actually pretty hard. Like that the ice cream scoop is hard and that the anyway, Shelly's law. I'm definitely not the law. But I feel like I don't feel like that considers food. I mean, this is gonna, it's gonna be like a whole thing. Like, to me, desserts aren't food. To me, food is like, it's a meal. To me, yeah, I'm just gonna go with food is a meal. But does that mean, I don't know, guys. But I feel like if you're just selling like brownies or if you're just selling ice cream, or like, you know what I used to love those places that you could go and you could put like bulk candy in a bag and like you had to really be careful. So you'd be like, oh, this is my favorite candy, but I better only put 2 in there because I'm going to get like 20 other of my favorite candies and this shit's going to weigh a ton. And so I can't fill it up very much because I'm cheap. Anyway, but I love those bulk candy places. Rocky, if you're an ice cream, darn you. If you are an ice cream shop, maybe you do not want to sell an ice cream sandwich right now because that is definitely going to confuse our government. And it sucks that this is being rolled out and that they haven't done it. Okay. It also says by December's employers were lawyering up. So that's another expense though for like business owners that they're lawyering up. Okay. Attorneys for the honey baked ham chain asked whether it would qualify. They described the store as retail meat stores. That sounds disgusting, but whatever. And I wonder if that would be like an Omaha steak place too. I don't feel like that's fast food. I don't know. Now we're going to have a whole debate about what's fast food and what's not. Our customers primarily buy cooked hams and other bulk proteins and sides to eat at home, but acknowledge they also sell sandwiches that customers can eat at the restaurants or take to go. I don't know. Attorneys also sought clarification over whether their clients would have to pay $20 an hour if they own a chain of Papa Murphy's take and bake pizza shops. To me, that would be fast food. Pizza, even if it's take and bake, would be fast food. In late December, attorneys for an unnamed retail chain asked the department whether they would have to pay $20 in the fast food restaurants or cafes that are inside some of its stores. The attorneys noticed the company's stores sometimes sell groceries, but not primarily, and employees who work the fast food counters are often assigned to other parts of the store. Department attorney Hugh Appeal said it did not respond to the individual's inquiries, instead answering the companies with the FAQ this month. Okay, so we're going to go back up to that FAQ for sure. In the FAQ, the state said businesses are not exempt. So they're not exempt for selling ice cream, even though a national industry classification system excludes some ice cream shops from the definition of fast food or limited services restaurants. Okay, but ice cream shops are not exempt. To count as a bakery, the state said the bread sold must weigh at least a half a pound, and workers at a store within a store must be paid $20 for an hour for the portion they work at the restaurant portion of the stores. The answers apparently created new questions. Surprise, surprise, California being confusing about this? Who would have thunk it? The FAQ stated fast food managers can only be exempt from California's overtime pay laws if they make more than twice the minimum wage, a threshold that is now higher for fast food employees. But attorneys for the retailer wrote in another letter to the department in mid-March that the store's managers only manage the fast food counters part-time. Oh, well, that's a nightmare. It's unclear how the state will handle the confusion going forward. Its FAQ directs workers who believe they were wrongly being denied $20 an hour to file a wage theft claim with the Labor Commissioner's Office, a process that is so backlogged amid a staffing crisis for the office. Hey. Oh, dang it. Even though I'm like, hey. So I would be really good at that, right? I would be good at helping them sort through these things. But I did tell you guys that I have a life update for you. So we're going to get to that in just 1 second. The department did not immediately respond today. And I want to read these FAQs. Guys, I should really make a video. Should I just like do it in like my bummy clothes and not put on makeup and just do it? Okay, we're gonna go to this FAQ. But before I do, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee and I'm gonna give you a little dirt on what's going on with Shelly Bridges' life right now. I don't know if this is happy or sad, but I guess it's happy for me, but it's sad for some other people, I think. The company where I have worked for all of these years, it opened a location last year, and last year I really wanted to be the manager of that location. But it didn't happen that way, and that's okay. I completely understand why they would have done it. If I would have been the business owner myself, I would have made the same decision. But that location has now come open, and I really want it. I am not, Mom. Here, we'll take this out for a second. Mom, if you're listening, I am not guaranteed to get this position, but I really want it, and I'm going to go for it with everything I have. And I believe that I have done everything that I possibly can to get this position. And I've already applied for it, and everything's probably going to be happening pretty quickly, but also probably pretty chaotically just because it's happening quickly. I don't know when I'll find out. I don't know when I'll interview. All I know is that it's exciting to even have the opportunity and the possibility. So fingers crossed that they choose me for this opportunity. In addition to it being like the general manager position that I really want, it's closer to my house. It is right next door to a gym. It's not a gym that I belong to, so I would have to get a gym membership there, but it's right next door to a gym, which makes me really hopeful that I could either go to the gym before work or go to the gym after work. And then in the same complex is a Trader Joe's. So I could go to the gym before or after work, which would help me like lose a little bit of weight, which we know is on my vision board. And it would help me, like I would be able to just go grocery shopping. Like if I was working the night shift, I wouldn't be able to go after work, but like if I forgot my lunch on the way to work, I could just pop down to Trader Joe's real fast and buy something healthy instead of like getting fast food. And it's closer in mileage to my house, not necessarily time-wise because it's street traffic versus freeway traffic, so depending on the time. Anyway, it would be a great opportunity if I was chosen for it. And there's no reason not to choose me for it. They posted on LinkedIn about it, and I had to like, if you're watching, that's fine, employer. But I almost, the like the Hunger Games where she's like, I volunteer as tribute. Like I volunteer as tribute. I want to do this really bad. Okay. So anyways, that's my life update. But, I think we all should always I think we should not settle. And I think, we have to be aware of other opportunities that present themselves. So like, maybe if that doesn't work, maybe I need to help this people, or like, maybe I need to take 2 jobs. Thank you. Thank you, Flo Jersey. And it's really nice to have you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying this live. We do this every Sunday. But yeah, I need to make a follow-up video for my mom because for some reason that video has shown up in the YouTube algorithm. And my mom is wonderful and everybody loves when she comes on. She doesn't particularly love making the videos. We just talked about this. She's like, but I will. She said, but I will for you because we love each other. Right, Mom? Anyway, no, my mom loves me. So she said she would come on for me, but I think we need to make a follow-up because that video with her about living on Social Security is about 2 years old now. And her rent's going up, but her Social Security is not. Your mom's on Social Security. I'm sure you're familiar. Okay. So this is, we're now switching back to the $20 an hour minimum wage, fast food minimum wage. And this is the FAQ that the state of California has sent out. So this is the department, the DIR. Oh, Lord. It looks way too much like the EDD website. Okay. This is the dirt. I'm never going to work for them if I call them the dirt. But anyway, okay. So this is the Department of Industrial Relations, We'll edit out that part of the video if I ever apply for them. Okay. So this is this is from the Labor Commissioner's Office, and it's the fast food minimum wage frequently asked questions. I am going to take a sip of coffee, and you guys please like this video while I do that. All right. The FAQs provided general information are not exhaustive. They do not constitute legal advice regarding your particular circumstances. Claimer, looks like you're going to have another, you should set up another number for business owners to call the government. All right. Number 1, what is the new law that raises the minimum wage for fast food employees? AB 1228 is a new law in California which added sections 1474, 1475, and 1476 to the labor code and does 2 main things. First, it increases the minimum wage for fast food restaurant employees. Second, it establishes a fast food council, which is empowered to both make future increases to the minimum wage and to adopt other minimum employment standards for fast food restaurants. Minimum wage increase. When does the minimum wage increase in AB 1228 take effect? Starting April 1st, 2024, all fast food restaurant employees who are covered by the new law must be paid at least $20 per hour. They can pay you more, and if they do, that'd be awesome. Does an employer covered by the new law have to post a new minimum wage or industrial welfare commissioner order? So this is like in your employee break room or your employee area or a highly visible area that your employees pass each day. There's going to be like federal, state, local postings. So this is like, hey, do I need to post one of those? Yes. A supplement to the minimum wage order must be posted by employers covered by the fast food minimum wage. The supplement to the minimum wage order is available here. Wage Order 5 and Wage Order 7 were also adopted in March of 2024. Those materials are usually free, so if you need to update your materials, you'll go here to do that. Okay. Can an employer increase the amount of meal or lodging credits that count towards the minimum wage under the Industrial Welfare Commission orders? No. AB 1228 did not authorize additional credits to the minimum wage. A fast food employer may only credit the amounts allowed by the statewide minimum wage. So I think what this is asking, I'm not super familiar with that, is like if I give you a free shift meal, does that count? Can I write that off and count that as towards your wage? No, you cannot, is the answer. Can a city or county pass a fast food minimum wage law that sets a higher wage for only fast food restaurant employees? Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know this. I thought the answer was going to be different. Anyway, no. A city or county cannot pass an ordinance setting a higher minimum wage only for fast food restaurant employees covered by this law. However, a city or county can set a higher general minimum wage for all employees that would apply to employees covered by this law. For example, a local government minimum wage law could require all employees in the city be paid more than the current fast food employees' minimum wage. The fast food restaurant establishment then must pay the higher local minimum wage. So far, though, guys, I have not heard of any local governments talking about paying more than 20. In a second, we can, we're going to stay on longer today, it appears. But in a second, we'll check Santa Monica's minimum wage. The West Hollywood minimum wage, because I want to say they're at $19 an hour. And then what else? And then we'll check a job posting at Baskin Robbins, and we'll see what they're saying. A local Baskin Robbins, which is like an ice cream place if you're not local. Okay. A local government can also set a higher minimum wage that is specific to a particular group of employees, so long as it does not include fast food employees. Visit minimum wage frequently asked questions, ca.gov. Who is covered by the current law? Who are fast food restaurant employees under the law? Well, nobody seems to know. But here's what they say. The law applies only to employees of fast food restaurants. To be considered a fast food restaurant, the restaurant must meet all of the criteria below. The restaurant must be a limited service area restaurant in California. A limited service restaurant is one that offers limited or no table service where the customers order food or beverage items and pay for those items before the items are consumed. Okay, so like at a sit-down restaurant, like a Denny's, you sit down, you order your food, and then at the end, they bring you your check. So that's real clear as to why like a sit-down restaurant is not included in this. The restaurant is part of a restaurant chain. I also wonder if businesses, like, so at a drive-through, you would have, oh, that would get really confusing. I'm like, what I was thinking is like, could a McDonald's start charging you after you've consumed it as well? But that wouldn't work like through the drive-through. Okay, anyway. The restaurant is part of a restaurant chain of at least 60 establishments nationwide. An establishment is a single restaurant location offering food or beverages to customers. Off-site business locations, geographically separate from a restaurant location, at which employees perform administrative, warehouse, or preparatory food production tasks, are not counted as establishments towards the 60 establishment minimum. The restaurant is primarily engaged in selling food and beverage for immediate consumption. However, some fast food restaurants are exempt from the law. See question 11. Okay, question 7. What if my employer is a franchise owner? AB 1228 applies to employers of fast food restaurant employees, regardless of whether the employer is the business entity that owns the national brand or franchise or licensee of that national brand. What does the term for immediate consumption mean? Typically, oh, interesting. So that might be why. So in this case, but again, I was wrong the last time. So those take and bake pizzas, those would not be, you couldn't eat a raw pizza. Well, I suppose you could, but you shouldn't eat a raw pizza. So I would think that they would not be included in this. Anyway, what does the term for immediate consumption mean? Typically, customers at a fast food restaurant will eat at a table inside or outside the restaurant, in their car, or as soon as they get back home or to work with their order. Oh, and it says it right here. Okay, food sold to be baked, cooked, or heated at home is not for immediate consumption. Okay, so I was right on that one. So to the answer on that one pizza place, no, you don't have to pay $20 an hour. I am also going to say that, hi, Sean. All right. So I'm also going to say, I'm glad you're happy to be here, Flo Jersey. And feel free to pop out anytime you want. My feelings won't be hurt. You don't have to listen to the whole thing, but I love that you are here. Okay. So I will also say that if there's something that employees don't understand, that often leads them to be frustrated with their employer. So let's say that the person who works at a take and bake type pizza place, they go into work tomorrow thinking that they're going to make $20 an hour. And then their boss is like, no, I'm sorry. Like that doesn't apply to you. That can really cause somebody to get like angry and frustrated with their employer. And that can make them say things like, well, I'm just going to go work at McDonald's. So like I think it's going to cause that kind of tension as well. But I hope it doesn't. Hopefully the people understand. But it's frustrating. Okay, anyway. So it will not apply to like a take and bake pizza place. If the restaurant meets the fast food restaurant criteria, but also offers prepared dishes that are intended to be baked, cooked, or heated elsewhere, would the restaurant still be covered by the new law? Possibly. The restaurant establishment may be covered by the new law if the restaurant establishment is primarily engaged, meaning it earns more than 50% of its gross income from selling food or beverage items that are for immediate consumption. For example, if a fast food pizza restaurant earns 30% of its revenue from take and bake pizza to be baked at home, but earns 70% of its revenue from sales of fully cooked food and beverages for immediate consumption, the restaurant is primarily engaged in selling food and beverage for immediate consumption and would be covered by the new law, provided no other exemption applies. Could a shop that features ice cream, coffee, boba tea, pretzels, or donuts be considered a fast food restaurant covered by the new law? Yes. The definition of fast food restaurant does not depend on what type of food or beverage an establishment sells. Okay, so that's why the pretzel shops and things like that do have to pay this. Okay. Okay. So donut shop does apply. That's interesting. Okay. Are there any restaurant establishments that would fit within the above definition of fast food restaurant but are nonetheless exempt from the new law? Yes. The following restaurant establishments are not covered by the new law. Restaurants that operate as a bakery that produces and sells bread as a standalone menu item as of September 15th, 2023. Okay, so this is interesting because I had wondered about this and continue to do so are exempt for the new law. Because I was like, oh, well, why wouldn't McDonald's just start making and selling their own bread? So they needed to have sold it. They needed to have made and sold bread as a standalone item back in September 15th of 2023, and they need to continue to do so. So they can't just be like, I'm going to sell bread now, because it needed to have already have been a menu item in September of last year in order for them to do that. Okay, bread. We have to define bread. This is so good, guys. All right, state of California for you. All right, bread is defined as sorry. Bread is defined as a single unit item that weighs at least half a pound after cooling and must be sold as a standalone item. The following types of fast food restaurants do not come under exemption. Restaurants that sell bread only as part of a sandwich or hamburger, but not as a standalone menu item. Restaurants that sell standalone items weighing less than 1/2 pound after cooling, such as most muffins, croissants, scones, rolls, or buns, but do not sell bread weighing at least 1/2 pound after cooling. And restaurants that do not produce bread on the premises of the restaurant location where customers purchase the bread. Producing bread includes making the dough, typically flour, wheat, flour, water, and yeast, and baking it. Baking pre-made dough, i.e. dough that was mixed or prepared at another location, does not constitute producing bread at the establishment where the bread is sold. The exemption applies only to restaurant establishments that produced and sold bread as a standalone menu item as of September 15th, 2023, and have continued to do so. This exemption does not require that the restaurant be primarily engaged in the sale of bread as a standalone item. The exemption may apply even when the sale of bread as a standalone menu item constitutes a small portion of the restaurant's total food sales. Restaurants located within a grocery establishment are exempt from the new law. A fast food restaurant establishment is exempt from the new law if it meets both of the following. 1. The restaurant establishment is located and operates within a grocery establishment. The term grocery establishment is defined as a retail store in the state that is over 15,000 square feet in size and sells primarily household foodstuffs for off-site consumption, including the sale of fresh produce, meats, poultry, fish, deli products, dairy products, canned foods, dried food, beverages, baked foods, or prepared foods. With any sale of other household supplies or other products secondary to the primary purpose of food sales. Primary means that the establishment earns more than 50% of its gross income from the sale of household foodstuffs for off-site consumption. 2. The grocery establishment employer employs the individuals working in the restaurant. C. Restaurants connected to or operating in conjunction with the following locations are also not covered by the law. It's in an airport, in a hotel, an event center that is over 20,000 square feet or has more than 1,000 seats, for example, a sports stadium, concert hall, or racetrack. So, I can't think of where it is, but like, let's say that you go to, I don't know, the crypto.com arena, Staples Center, and there's like a Del Taco inside, they would not have to pay the $16 an hour minimum wage. Okay, a theme park, a museum, or a gambling establishment, for example, a card room. That's interesting. Also, not covered by the law are restaurants subject to a concession agreement or food service contract if the restaurant is in a building or campus primarily used by one for-profit company, if the restaurant primarily serves the employees of that company. So, I don't know if they do this or not, but like, let's say at Netflix, let's say in the Netflix building is a Del Taco. But most of the people that go to that Del Taco are employees of Netflix, then that Del Taco would not have to pay $20 an hour. And that's just an example. I'm just picked that out of thin air. Okay. On public land, if the public land is a public beach, park, historic district, or operated by a port authority. 12. I work for a fast food restaurant that is inside of another store that is not a grocery store. My employer assigns me to tasks, both in the fast food restaurant and in the other store. Am I covered by the new minimum wage law for fast food restaurants? Most likely. Your employer does not fall within the grocery establishment exemption. So if no other exemption applies, you would be covered by the fast food minimum wage law for the work hours you perform, the hours you work in the fast food restaurant. So again, you would get $20 an hour when you were working in the fast food portion, but not if you were doing other things like restocking, working cash register in the other part of the store. And my guess there is that that would be too hard for businesses to keep track of. So my guess is that they would start hiring people exclusively for the restaurant and exclusively for the non-restaurant part. Okay. 13. My friend and I work for the same fast food restaurant chain at different locations. My friend is covered by the new law and is now being paid $20 an hour. But my supervisor says I am not covered by the law. Could my supervisor be correct? Yep, they could. Even though an employer may have to pay $20 an hour to a worker at some of its establishments, workers at the employer's other establishments may be exempt from the law. For example, if the establishment where you work produces and sells bread as a standalone menu item, your work establishment would be exempt under the bakery exemption. The establishment where your friend works may be selling the same items and be part of the same restaurant chain, but may not produce bread on site. Under this scenario, your friend's establishment would be covered by the new law, and the employees at your establishment would be exempt under the bakery exemption. You are still entitled to generally applicable minimum wage. Also, I think the bread example is weird. I think the example of like where it's in an airport or where it's at a school or where it's at, did it say school actually? Or where it's like on public land. So we're going to go with Del Taco. There's a Del Taco on a public beach. You would not be paid the $20 a minimum wage, but if you're at the Del Taco down the street from my house that's not on a beach, then you would be paid $20 an hour. So I feel like that's like a better example, except for there's not Del Tacos on the beach. But like that's more understandable. The bread thing I think is confusing. in my opinion. Okay. Number 14. There's only 17 of these, so we're almost through it. And you guys, if you have a business owner, definitely make sure that they're watching today's. Forward this to them if they're a fast food worker, if they're confused about if they're a fast food employer or not. Okay, 14. I'm a manager. Haha. Okay. This is what I was looking for at the beginning of the live. I am a manager at a fast food restaurant, paid a salary, and I do not receive, aka get paid overtime. Does this law impact me? Under California law, to qualify as an exempt employee for wage and hour purposes, you must receive a salary of at least 2 times the state minimum wage for someone working 40 hours a week and meet other specific requirements. If your salary is less than $83,200 as a fast food restaurant employee starting on April 1st, 2024, you are not an exempt employee. So basically, unless they're paying you $83,200, you would still qualify for overtime. And I'm going to see something really quick here. Okay. Sorry, remind me that we just did number 14. I see that I'm losing some of you. That's okay, I guess. All right. So, current minimum wage, state minimum wage. Everybody in California needs to be making at least $16 an hour. Okay. Which means to be salaried. So salaried needs to be double state minimum wage. Okay, so 16 times 2 equals, so that'd be $32 an hour. But their salary, so that's times 40 hours a week, equals $1,280 a week. And generally, you're just going to multiply that by 52 weeks a year, which would equal times 52 equals. So to be salary right now, the minimum amount you need to be paid is $66,560 for state minimum wage, $66,560. But with fast food, it now needs to be, why does that look so little to me? Okay, it needs to be $83,200. $83,200 is the new fast food minimum wage. Just to see how much of a difference that is, $83,200 minus 66,560 equals that's $16,640 more if you're a salaried manager at a fast food place. Woohoo! And if they're not paying you that $83,200, they cannot classify you as exempt, and they would need to pay you overtime and things like that. I'm gonna check and see if there have been any new questions since I've been reading all of this. Okay. we love we always grabbing the whiteboard during the live, just because I'm curious, and I have to do the math, and I might as well share it with you guys while I'm doing it. Okay. I'm also going to say I totally wrote that whiteboard off on my tax purposes because I use it just solely for these lives. Okay, I'm going to drink another sip of coffee. We are almost done with those 18 FAQs about the new $20 fast food minimum wage. And then I still said that we were going to check how much it was at Baskin Robbins. Okay. 15. I am an employer that operates a fast food restaurant inside of a larger store. My managers oversee both the fast food restaurant and the rest of the store. What salary should I be paying my managers? Just pay them their $3,200. What salary should I be paying my managers given they spend time managing both employees who work in the fast food restaurant and employees who work in other parts of the store? For a manager to qualify as an exempt employee under the California law, the employer must pay them at least 2 times the state minimum wage for someone working 40 hours a week, and the manager must meet other specific requirements, including the requirement that the manager must be engaged in exempt tasks for more than 50% of the work time. If your employee is managing both fast food restaurant workers and non-fast food workers, then 2 different statewide minimum wages would apply to determine the salary threshold for Exemption. The fast food restaurant minimum wage for time overseeing the fast food restaurant work and the general statewide minimum wage for the time overseeing workers not assigned to fast food restaurant work. An employer would have to calculate the blended rate on a weekly basis. And this is why, guys, I think that I think that rather than deal with this, that a lot of businesses are just going to go ahead and take their salaried managers off of salary, give them an hourly rate instead, and just pay them overtime when it comes up. I think that's what's going to happen, because that's the benefit of putting someone on salary, is that you don't have to pay them overtime. So in my experience, when you put someone on salary is when you think they're going to be getting a lot of overtime. So my guess, though, is that with this, because if you just take them off of salary and you decide to pay them, so double $20 an hour for a salaried fast food manager is $40 an hour. But could you just pay somebody $30 an hour instead of paying them the salary, which is still a good wage, but then you would just have to pay them overtime anytime they went. And then that overtime rate, if you were a manager, Rocky, it's your favorite part. If you're a manager and they said, yeah, I'm so sorry, we're going to take you off a salary. We can't afford none of these salaries anymore. We're going to pay you an hourly rate of $30 an hour. So that would be for up to 40 hours a week. There's other laws, but whatever. Up to $40 hours a week. And then overtime is time and a half. So that would be $45 an hour for anything above for more than 40 hours a week. So when somebody making $30 an hour got overtime, that would be more than the salary rate, but the hope would be that they would be getting less overtime. So that's sort of my theory there, is that maybe they'll hire more managers, but at a lower hourly rate. I don't know. Okay, we're going to keep going here. All right. But anyway, also I think this is too confusing. And so that's also why I think they might just bump them down to hourly and then incur the cost of giving them overtime. Okay. For example, a manager who in the course of a work week in April 2024 spends 40% of their time overseeing the store's fast food restaurant workers and 60% managing the store's other workers would have to be paid $1,408 to meet the minimum salary requirements for the exempt status that week. The math, capturing the blending of rates. I'm not going to go through this math exactly. We're going to go on to number 16. If a worker also gets paid tips, can an employer use tips as a credit towards the obligation to pay the minimum wage? No, an employer may not use an employee's tips as a credit towards its obligation to pay the minimum wage. 17. I believe I am covered by the new law, but my employer says I am not. Since April 1st, 2024, my employer has been paying me less than $20 an hour for the work I've performed. What should I do? An employee who has not been paid the minimum wage can bring a legal claim to recover wages due and possibly related damage and penalties. Your employer will carry the burden of showing they are not covered by the new law. Generally speaking, there are 3 ways to present such a claim: through the Labor Code Commissioner, through an alternative dispute resolution system such as arbitration, if required or allowed under the employment agreement, or through a lawsuit in court. Employees pursuing the first option can file an individual wage claim with the Labor Commissioner's Wage Claim Adjudication Unit. That's the place that's behind, though. Or they can file a report of labor law violation with the Labor Commissioner's Bureau of Field Enforcement, which does not pursue individual claims, but may investigate and cite the employer. More information about wage claims and employee rights in general is available on the Labor Commissioner's website or from the Labor Commissioner's local offices. 18. I thought this was only... Okay, well, it's a 20 20 question FAQ. Okay. 18. I am a fast food restaurant employee. I'm a fast food restaurant employee, and a collector is attempting to garnish my wages. That is, get the money from my paycheck before I receive it. I understand that part of the hourly minimum wage that I make is protected from collection. Is the minimum wage for purposes of garnishment the fast food restaurant minimum wage? Yes, when calculating the wages exempt from garnishment for a fast food restaurant employee, the party seeking to garnish the wages must use the applicable statewide fast food restaurant minimum hourly wage unless a higher local minimum hourly wage exists. Okay. The role of the Fast Food Council in addition to the minimum wage. What is the Fast Food Council? AB 1228 created the Fast Food Council. The Fast Food Council is comprised of appointed representatives from the fast food restaurant industry, fast food restaurant franchisees, or restaurant owners. Fast food restaurant employees advocates for fast food restaurant employees and one unaffiliated member of the public. The council also has 2 non-voting members, one from the Department of Industrial Relations and one from the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. What will the Fast Food Council do? The council will meet regularly to develop new minimum employment standards specific to the fast food industry. These standards could include future minimum wage increases, although these could not occur prior to January 1st, 2025, as well as working hours and working conditions to ensure and maintain the health, safety, and welfare of, and to supply the necessary cost of proper living to fast food restaurant workers. The hourly minimum wage establishment by the council can increase every year by either 3.5% or the consumer price index, whichever is smaller. The Fast Food Council can establish a single statewide minimum wage for fast food restaurant employees or vary the minimum wage by region of the state. The council's meetings will be open to the public. Interesting. I gotta see where these hearings are. And the council will take public comment on all action items. Okay, so those are all of the FAQs. And now let's just real quick bring up, we're going to look at, should we just go straight to, we're going to look at Baskin Robbins. Baskin Robbins. Okay. We're going to go straight to Baskin Robbins. I don't want them to know my location. And we're looking for careers to join the team. Bring the yay, search jobs. Let's look at, how about Los Angeles? There's 22 jobs. Okay. Ooh, general manager. Oh, naughty, naughty. Okay, crew member in Hollywood. Shift leaders. Crew member. I want to see how much. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but I just want to see how much the general manager. Now, remember, if this is a salaried position, it's going to need to pay $83,200. So let's see. Up there, so they're going to pay hourly, and their hourly wage is going to be $23 to $29 an hour. Okay, for a general manager. So for a general manager, that pay could potentially just be as little as $3 more than the staff, than the crew members. Okay, so I'm going to close this tab. We're going to share this tab instead. Oops. Hold on, what did that just do to the stream? Sorry. Okay, we'll put Baskin Robbins back up there. I don't know what just happened. Okay, careers. We've lost it. Okay, so crew member. Oh, interesting. So this is wrong. Okay. Oh, naughty, naughty, Baskin Robbins. Tisk, tisk. I wonder if this will be updated by tomorrow. Um. Okay, so I wasn't sharing the right tab. Starting pay ranged $17 an hour to $18.50 an hour, and you can see right up here it's got crew member 6201 Hollywood Boulevard 90028. And it says that the starting pay range is $17 an hour to $18.50 an hour. Is it possible that there's not more than 60 locations? But is it possible that this is you're applying to work for franchisee of Dunkin' Donuts, not Dunkin' Donuts Brands Inc. Blah blah blah. No, but this is not. Sorry guys, you are not updated. An ice cream shop does need to pay $20 an hour minimum wage. So you're on the naughty list. Should I email them? I feel like I should email them. I might email them. Is that just being a busybody Karen? Like, I don't know. Okay. But like I feel like they're in violation of the law and they should know that, right? I don't know. Okay. Let's look. There's a ice cream brand called Salt and Straw that I really like. I think they paid like a ton of money. The last time I looked, I was like, I'm just gonna go scoop ice cream. Like, seriously. All right, can we look at their let's look at we're gonna go off track for a second because we're losing people anyway. Okay, so guys, if you're just tuning in, we just checked Baskin Robbins, and like Rocky had started to notice, like several weeks ago, they were starting to advertise most of the places that needed to pay the $20 an hour minimum wage. They had started advertising that rate like weeks ago because like by the time you onboard the employees, get them trained, by the time they're really starting, and here in California, you have to pay for all of that. But like, are you really going to take the time to just pay them like one rate for a couple weeks and then raise it maybe at $4 an hour? Maybe you do. But they were definitely starting to advertise weeks ago about the $20 an hour minimum wage. Yeah, and on their own website, they have not updated it on Baskin Robbins. So like that's naughty. Like I think that you can get in trouble legally for not posting the correct rates. Like what you put in writing, you got to just be really careful with that. Okay. Anyway. So I love Salt and Straw. Now, they are a treat for sure because they're expensive. Okay, so we're gonna read some of their flavors. Peanut butter brownie cereal puffs. Mom, don't listen because you're gonna want some. I don't think they have sugar-free. Corn flake cookies with Marionberry jam. Off limits. Zombie. I don't know what's in zombie with coconut and pandan. I don't even know what pandan is. It's vegan. Okay. Honey lavender. Here's some of the weird flavors. This one is an arbequina. Okay, I'm gonna just stop. But anyway, it's an olive oil flavor. This one's strawberry honey balsamic with black pepper. I've had that one. It's actually really good. Pear and blue cheese. I've also had that one. I really liked it. Roasted pineapple, coconut, panther coffee, chocolate, tres leches. That sounds good. Okay. We got off track here, but anyway, they have really good flavors. That's my point. And like unique flavors. And what are we going to see here? Scoop shops? Nope. We got to scroll to the bottom of the page. Oh, Siri. No, Siri. Okay, so we scroll to the bottom and we got to look at jobs. Oh, Siri. Siri, shut up. Okay. Sort by location. Location. Oh my goodness. Come on. Ooh, Little Italy, San Diego for an assistant general manager, a retention marketing manager. Oh, that's in Portland. Sanitation super, a real estate investor, not an investor. Anyway, oops, what's going on here? Search by zip code let's do within 100 miles of 90028. Okay. An ice cream scooper in downtown Disney. So this is not right either, but like, is downtown Disney gonna somehow, yeah, all of these places, they're not, it's not correct. Oh, naughty, naughty. So if you go on their on their individual websites, like, this is not correct. A seasonal scooper on Abbot Kinney, 1678. Also, can we just say that it's saying that you get like an average of $9.54 in tips? But yeah, all of these say that they're starting at 1678, and they need to say, this bothers me, that it needs to say $20 an hour. So a lot of their websites are not correct. All right. Happy Easter, Debbie, and everyone else as well. And then Rocky, probably tomorrow or this week they'll be updating. Yeah, I imagine like some of their employees, like, I don't know. Like, I like to help businesses. I don't like it when their information's out of, like, not correct. So part of me wants to like email them and let them know. I don't know. But then, like, that's not my job. They should literally have people at their own companies to do that. You know what I should do instead of that? Like, make videos that maybe like they can watch and help, and then that would help me too, right? Anyway, okay. All right, guys, we have streamed for almost 2 hours talking about this. Thank you to those of you who joined for the first time. We go live every Sunday morning to talk about finance, budget, living on Social Security, shopping at the food bank, insurance rates going up, sometimes movies, and the $20 an hour fast food minimum wage, kind of like whatever is going on finance and budget wise. All right. So hope you can join me next week. Thanks so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next time. Happy Easter.